Good afternoon. I want you to see light differently. It takes 20 to 30 minutes for the human eye to completely adjust to the darkness. Are you waiting? Because that was just 10 seconds. The dark is so powerful, it can make time expand. We forgot that, but what we didn't forget is as children, we were afraid of the dark. And when we became adults, we learned that some of the best times we would ever have in our lives were when the lights were out. So now that you're in the dark, reach out and touch somebody you love. Let them know you're doing it first so they know that it's you. Though the dark is where life is born, and the light is where we go to when we die, we fear the former and crave the latter. Even now, you're asking yourselves, when is he going to turn the lights on? God said, "Let there be light," and I proclaimed, "Let there be a light show." And the seed that was planted in the dark, juggling 3 lighted balls, grew up to become Luma, Art in Darkness, which has now been seen on 5 continents in 15 countries by almost 500 million people. Back then, my intention was to bring awareness to how much light pollution there is. But now times have changed. Now my mission is about bringing awareness to how much pollution is created by our light. But before I go there, let me share with you how I got here. Back in 1986, Halley's Comet was flying by planet Earth, and I realized this was my one chance to see it. I had to drive 2.5 hours to escape the lights of Los Angeles to find a dark sky. And when I finally did and looked up, I saw stars stretching from one horizon to the other. I was struck with awe and reverence. It was the closest thing to a spiritual experience I ever had. And in that moment, I realized, my God, this goes by unnoticed every night because our lights are on. Don't people realize that the greatest show on earth isn't on earth at all? And I knew then that I was to create a show, and it was to be done in theaters, or what I like to call the cathedrals to our imagination. But for me to do that, I had to create some context and figure out how we went from this to this. When I began my research, it became very clear very quickly that we have a superstitious fear of the dark. The monster under the bed. The boogeyman that's lurking in the closet or in the shadow. The thing in the dark that's going to get us. Now, when we were cave people, this made a lot of sense because there really were things out in the dark that could eat us. But it hasn't been that way for a long, long time. But we hominids, we love our light. Like a moth to the flame, like a deer frozen in the headlights, like a plant turning to face the sun. We will go to great extremes to make light without ever thinking through the consequences of it. To begin with, the very first mass-produced product on the planet was the oil lamp. And the technology of the wick to make light remained the same for 70,000 years. Until in 1780, Amy Argan invented a circular wick, which was as much as 10 times brighter. Oh, we humans swarmed it at things like bugs around a porch light. But that bigger wick needed more fuel, and the making of light was about to turn very dark. Because at the beginning of the 19th century, tens of thousands of ships were scouring the planet, hunting whales, slaughtering them, boiling them down to turn them into lamp oil. Had it not been for the invention of kerosene, we would have hunted whales to extinction, all to make light. Now, kerosene ruled the day and the night for a short period of time, but then came along electricity, and with that, light bulb jokes. You know how many mystery writers it takes to change a light bulb? 2, one to change it, and the other one to give it a surprising twist at the end. September 4th, 1882. It was a monumental day on planet Earth because the Pearl Street power station came online, and New York was about to become the city that would never sleep. In the first year, 400 lamps were powered. Within 2 years, 10,000 lamps were being powered. That number has increased ever since. Until now, our cities look like this, and our nation looks like that. 80% of North Americans can no longer see the Milky Way anymore. Stop and think. That starlight has traveled millions and millions of light years to reach our eyes, and it's being shouted out right at the finish line because of a streetlight overhead. When we can't see the heavens that we belong to, we forget that we belong to the heavens. When we can't see starlight, we forget where we came from and where we'll go to. We become disconnected from eternity and afraid of death. It's our cosmic disconnect. Well, we're not killing whales anymore to make light. We're killing ourselves. The following data is the monster under the bed. Every year, residential outdoor lighting in America alone creates 15 trillion tons of CO2. And 30% of that light, and ergo the energy, is wasted. To give you an idea how much is wasted, let me paint a picture so I don't have to use 1,000 words. Eric Vandernoot, a physics professor at Florida Atlantic University, calculated that for every second a 70-watt incandescent bulb is on, the same amount of energy can lift 15 pounds, 1 meter off the ground. If you leave that light bulb on all night, the same amount of energy could lift 792,000 pounds, about the weight of a 747. Now that you're lifting your jaw up off of the floor, consider that leaving a light on when nobody is using it, any kind of light, is no different than leaving the oven on with no food inside it. I get it, we love our lights, but we forget the role that darkness plays. We love fireworks, but we gotta wait until dark before we shoot them off. We love our holiday lights, but we have to wait until dark before we turn them on. And a cake for a birthday brought into the room, festooned with candles, what do we do first? We turn off the light. And when we blow out the candles, it's in the dark that the wish is made. We are taught not to leave the water running when we leave the room. So why do we leave a light burning? The empty room is not afraid of the dark, nor is the night. How many light bulbs is it going to take before we change? For me, Luma was a visceral way to get this message out there, because I believe that entertainment travels far faster and is consumed more enthusiastically than any educational program. And with that, I now entreat and invite Hollywood and the sports industry. Will you join me to do a benefit for dark skies? A benefit by the stars, for the people, so our view of the heavens will not perish. Let's make it cool to flip something off, like the switch. Are you willing to lift a finger for climate change? 100 million small actions will have a far greater impact much sooner than waiting for some technological savior to come and rescue us. It is time for all of us to be lumen beings. And when we turn off that light, just like when we blow out the candle, make a wish for a healthier environment, because you've already taken a step in that direction. And if you ever find yourself in the dark and afraid, know that a light is no further away than the one in your pocket. I hope a light has gone on in your head about the dark, and that you're no longer in the dark about the impact of your light. Thank you.